All right, exchange rates. What's the issue here? We accuse the Chinese, and sometimes the Japanese, and sometimes the Koreans, and the Singaporeans, and some other people, mostly in East Asia, of currency manipulation. I'm going to take the Chinese. Other countries mess with their currencies all the time. Let's just say that right now. That's the whole point why I told you that a floating exchange rate is not a pure commercial competitive market, because the central bank's always messing with things. Why are we mad at the Chinese? Because we have been trying to push the dollar down for years, and they have a peg to the dollar, and they won't let us do it. We're mad at them because they're not letting us manipulate our currency. I'm not a fan of Chinese economic policy. If you go look for that paper that I wrote with Miller on trade, you find other papers you're going to have me saying they cheat, they lie, Bob. Just constant attack them. But that's what currency is. Currency is we're trying to drive the value of the dollar down, and China's not letting us do it. If you did a simple correlation between the value of the renminbi and U.S. unemployment, it would seem like the cheap renminbi that we hate, the renminbi's too cheap, they're currency manipulators, is associated with lower U.S. unemployment. When China devalued in 1994 and we called them a currency manipulator, U.S. unemployment fell. When they started revaluing in 2005, which is what we said we wanted, U.S. unemployment rose. Why? Is it really the case that Chinese currency is driving U.S. jobs? No. There's no connection. What matters is we had a strong domestic economy in the 90s, and so unemployment fell. And we had a weak domestic economy starting in the middle of the 2000s, so unemployment rose. And Chinese currency had nothing to do with it. What would China's exchange rate would look like if it was actually a market economy? China's exchange rate is 30% undervalued. If you go back to the papers in 2005, you know what they say? China's exchange rate is 30% undervalued. You know what has happened since then? China's exchange rate has risen 30% against the dollar. So it was 30% undervalued, it's risen 30% against the dollar, and it's still 30% undervalued. Chinese become exasperated with this. Can't say that I blame them. We don't know what the proper value of China's exchange rate is, because the Chinese economy is so warped by so many government interventions that there's no way to tell. So what do I want you to take away from exchange rates? We're trying to manipulate our currency, so there's a lot of other people. There is no connection between U.S. unemployment and Chinese currency practices. Unemployment is driven by us, not them. And I have no idea what the value of the Chinese exchange rate is, and I've been studying China for 20 years, 70 hours a week.